Across your world for information, breaking the myths, you will only find something that happened and that is happening. And yes, the facts, what may happen. Stay tuned for all these and more. Across your world for the topic for the day is internal audit, which is clause 9.2 of all the certifiable ISO standards. To all those who are subscribed to my channel and keep on watching my videos regularly and supporting me. And for those who haven't, my request is please check out my videos, and if you like them, subscribe and share. Right, let's get into the topic internal audit. Internal audit, as we all know, audit is a systematic, independent, and documented process against which objective evidence are obtained, and these objective evidences are compared with the audit criteria to ensure that the objectives are fulfilled. The aim of the audit process is to determine the degree of conformance, implementation, and the effectiveness of the management system in question. There are three things. One is the intent, another one is the implementation, and the third one is the effectiveness. And an audit has to provide information to facilitate change and improvement. That is the objective of an audit. And foremost step in an audit is to establish an audit program. This will ensure that all the processes are audited at the required frequency, and the focus is on the most critical process based on the business objectives and the success. Frequency of audit should be determined based on the status and importance, that is, the complexity of the processes in questions. This may allow a few processes to be audited more often than the other process because of their criticality and the need. Audits ought to be carried out when there are sufficient changes made to a system. That is, when there is a concern about the system deficiencies because of the changes, or it is simply an exercise to ensure that the system integrity is maintained even when there is a change in place. The audit constitutes the check part of PDCA and is a very important step in the PDCA cycle and the management system process. There is a need for audits to be consistent. To be consistent, an audit has to have a clear objective and scope. This should be defined for each and every audit that is performed. This will also help the auditor in ensuring the objectivity and impartiality. Now, there are a lot of questions among people when it comes to the internal audit. The first question people ask is, should we have a procedure for internal audit? Whether you have a procedure or not, the procedure is not mandated anywhere in the standard, but it is always suggested to have a procedure in place to exactly know where you stand in place of your audits. Your defined system always helps you in being consistent. Next common question is, who should audit? The person, the auditor, should have a working knowledge of the area to be audited, some basic understanding of that, and to ensure the impartiality, they should not be auditing their own work. So if I set up the system somewhere, I cannot audit my own work. It has to be audited by someone who has genuine knowledge about my process. We need to send out an audit invitation. Uh, it is up to the organization, but it is always recommended that it is planned systematically as in the definition. Questions like this: do we need to ensure the calibration of internal auditors every year? It is always better that they have a refresher course on auditing, because this is not going to be a regular activity for them. like the certification body auditors or the third party auditors, internal auditors need to be refreshed on the audit basics and fundamentals to ensure that the audit is conducted in the right way. The role of a management is key for ensuring that the audit results are handled in the right way, which means this is not just limited to the corrective action related to non-conformance, but also there could be some findings which could be used as a trigger for improvement. Audit done in the right way, executed in the right manner, can bring about a lot of opportunities for improvement in the area of the audit. Needless to say that follow-up activities should be performed to ensure the necessary actions has been taken and to ensure the effectiveness of the action taken as part of the audit corrective actions. The audit program is a mandatory thing, as well as the audit plan for a particular audit will ensure that the audit is planned in the right way. Documented procedure, although is not mandated as I said earlier, but maybe definitely may be handy when it comes to maintaining consistency in the audit procedures. Recording of the audit results is tricky. Somebody has only a summary, somebody has only a non-conformity report citing the number of non-conformities identified during the audit. But the ideal thing would be to record all those that have been conducted during the audit. The interviews, the documents verified, the area verified, and the clauses identified, and the questions based on the clauses, and the answers provided by the auditees and the documentary evidences, everything needs to be recorded. That would give a fair idea of how the audit has been conducted and not just the non-conformity reports. Basic question when it comes to auditors, do we need to have a checklist in place? If the auditor is competent enough to understand the process and be thorough with the requirements as well, then the requirement of checklist is not necessitated. But if the auditor is not familiar with either with the process or with the requirements of the standard, then the need for checklist arises. Checklist should just be a memory aid and it should not deviate the audit process. Checklist is just to ensure that the requirements are all taken care by the auditor during the audit process. Nothing more than that. Audit has to be planned, performed, and reported as suggested in ISO 19011 standard. Audit should never be a ritualistic exercise, and it should aid in improvement of the management system. That is the true objective of an audit. Any internal audit should be diligent enough to capture the system deviations. I hope you had a good time listening to the blog on internal audit, the ISO clause 9.2. I hope you have some kind of suggestions or comments. Please record it in the comment section and I'll be more than happy to read them and respond to them. Hope to see you with some similar content in the future. Till then, it is Ark signing off. Take care and bye bye. Have a happy internal audit in your organization. Bye.